Well, hello out there, motovloggers, if there's any of you left. I don't think I've ever showed my face on the motovlog because it's always been covered up by the helmet. But I live here in Texas, and we just got through our 100-degree plus days in the summer, so I haven't been riding a lot. But I thought I'd do a quick little motovlog in the garage and show you a couple of things about some of my hobbies and what I'm riding now. So now I want to show you my 1968 Triumph Bonneville. This bike I bought about 5 years ago. It was almost a basket case. It's really a junker. And we tore it apart down to what I call the singularity, to where it couldn't be disassembled anymore. Engine, every nut, bolt, and washer. And over a period of years, put it back together in pristine condition, so it looks pretty much like it did when it came out of the showroom. So it's a fun little bike. I love looking at it. Let's see if we can start her up. It's kind of a process you have to go through here to get it started. You know, the first thing is we have to turn the fuel valves on for both carburetors. And you tickle the carb, a little button here that fills up the float bowl, then overflows and trickles a little fuel down into the cylinder. Turn the key on, put the clutch in, and do this a couple of times to unstick the clutch plates. And then, if you're lucky, it starts. So, I got to tell you, it took a long time to get those two ammo carbs adjusted so it would idle like that. But it was worth it. So I can ride it now. I don't ride it a lot. I don't want to run the risk of chipping the paint or anything. I like to look at it. Part of this process was sending this tank and the two side panels off to a well-known guy in Boston who had all the original Triumph paint to have it painted. This is the original Triumph color from 1968, and it came back in beautiful condition. The pinstriping is beautiful. It's just a really nice job. It cost me $1,700 to have the tank painted and the two side panels. So you can see that I don't want to run a risk of chipping it with a rock or anything like that, or God forbid having a wreck. So most of the time I just sit around and look at it and then ride it around every once in a while. So that's my little toy. Hope you enjoyed looking at it as much as I do. So here's my Harley. It's up on the lift right now because I am resurrecting it. I retired it 5 years ago after 100,000 miles. Now, I didn't sell it because I have an emotional attachment to it. One of the things, right back here, my 10-year-old son rode all the way to Calgary, Canada, and back. And of course, he's never wanted to ride a motorcycle since. But some of the happiest times of my life has been on this motorcycle. So it's quite a special thing. But I retired it because I was really, I got tired of the noise, and frankly, I got a little bit tired of the culture, but I still like it. And surprisingly, after 5 years, it's been sitting up for 5 years, and I didn't even know, I hadn't touched it in 5 years. It was gathering dust, and I decided I would clean it up a little bit. Now, that's not the stock Harley engine. That's a 107-inch S&S engine. The whole S&S engine and Super G carb. So I wanted to make a hot rod, and I wanted to I've always wanted a bike that would scare me. Well, after that S&S engine was put into it, it almost scared me, but not quite, because it was fast, but there was still something lacking. And of course, if this bike's not built really for high speed, I don't think, because if I got it over 100 miles an hour, the front end started to feel a little bit light, which was a little unsettling. But it's still, after 5 years, I heard that sound, frankly, that sound caused me to have a high frequency hearing loss because I didn't have enough sense to wear earplugs in those 100,000 miles. But let's just see what can happen here. We'll, of course, I had to take off pull the carb off and clean it, and then I also had to take the starter motor out because the starter motor wouldn't turn over the engine, and you'll probably see why the starter motor went bad, because that stock starter motor doesn't handle this high compression 107-inch engine very well. It does the job, but over a period of time, I'm sure that's what wore it out. So I had to replace that, but I just can't beat that Harley sound, can you? But I got a little tired of it. So now then, I've got some more projects to do on this bike. One of the things I discovered on the lift, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but a challenge. I don't know if you can see this. Right there on the belt, it looks like it got a little rock caught up there and it just punched through it. Now, I don't ride this bike a lot, so that's probably going to be okay. I certainly wouldn't take a road trip on it, but I decided anyway I'm going to go ahead and replace it. And then let me show you what I have to do to replace it. It says it's about a 6 to 8 hour job. For me, it's probably going to be about a 3-day job. But first of all, I got to take the rear wheel off naturally. And then I have to take the whole rear fork off, which is pretty major. And then we have to come in here and take the primary off, and then I have to take the clutch out, the whole assembly out, and I have to take this back part of the primary out to get to it. It's going to be a major operation. So I'm going to tackle that job. I think I can do it, but we'll get this thing back in running condition. I'm putting new brakes, new brake pads, and get that done. New rear brakes, and flush out all the brake fluid. But I did take it for a little spin around the neighborhood when I started her up, and it's fun to ride. I had forgotten how much low-end torque this thing has, although it really wasn't as fast as I had hoped. At the top end, boy, the thing takes off like a Mack truck. So this is what I swapped it out for. This is my rider now. And I really do enjoy this bike. I have to take this thing off that I'm drying. This is the Yamaha FJR 1300. And boy, now this bike scares me. It's amazing when you look at the difference in sound between these two bikes. My goodness, this thing is like a sewing machine compared to that Harley. I'll just get in, see if I can get her in neutral here. So this is a totally different bike. Now, you compare the Harley with this, just starting out from a dead stop, and I'm not talking about drag racing dead stop, I'm just talking about a normal start. That Harley just jumps ahead, all that god-awful low-end torque that thing has. It's just amazing. This thing, not so much, but it's a whole different story when you get up there. This bike scares me. This bike, I can be doing 100 miles an hour on this bike and I don't even know it. The engine's not working. And many times I've looked down on inner city freeways just past me. I've been doing 100 miles an hour and I had to stop. I'm headed up to 150 miles an hour and it still was going. Solid as a rock on the highway. It didn't float like that Harley did at high speeds. It's just squatched down like it's built for all day long rides on the Autobahn or something like that. It's an amazing machine. Quiet, smooth. I love it. So that's my garage. This is my little playground here. And I've got a restoration project that I'm going to start on pretty soon. You can see that it's my 1960 Vespa. It's in pretty bad shape. But I want to restore that because I had a Vespa when I was a kid. Threw a paper route on it. So that's what I'm doing now. So that's the end of my little garage moto vlog. I appreciate all you guys who log in and look at this stuff. And maybe I'll give you another view of the Harley once I get it all restored and roadworthy again. Thanks for watching. See you later.